practice, obviously I was really proud of our guys' effort. I thought our toughness and togetherness was exceptional. I knew we were going to learn a lot about our guys after coming off of Wednesday's game, and then the way we practiced the last 2 days, I thought we were really good. They responded well. The practices were really physically demanding, and I'm once again thankful for the character of our guys. They let us coach them. Our leadership's good. They respond well. We can get on them, and they don't put their head down. They listen and they fight. Today I thought we fought. Certainly weren't perfect. We kicked it around a little bit in the second half, and obviously beat a really good and well-coached, Ohio State team that's going to win a lot of basketball games. So, the great thing about this league is you've got to stay somewhere in the middle. Can't get too high or too low. I do want them to enjoy this one. But tomorrow we can't become self-absorbed with it because we got another one on Wednesday coming right at you. So it's just the way the league is. It's what makes it fun and challenging. But I'm certainly proud of our effort, our toughness, and our togetherness here today.
Take questions for Brandon and Nana first before we get back to coach.
Brandon, what was the difference from your guys' effort Wednesday and today?
We fought hard, obviously like Coach was talking about. We had a lot of toughness drills in practice, and we compete every day in practice, and he tells us, you deserve to have a good game. So we continued our good practice run, and I think as players we had better carryover into the game, and we not only executed on offense, we defended and rebounded better.
Brandon, can you describe what a toughness drill is and how it's brought it out of you?
Don't get me in trouble, Brandon.
I don't want to get into the secrets that we do, but just, guys get really physical in the drills. There's a lot of diving on the floor, taking charges and whatnot. Just things that, basically carry over into the game situations, and, I think a lot of guys stepped up for us tonight as well.
What's with your leg?
I got banged up a little bit, going to the hoop, I'll be fighting along.
Brandon, in their 2 losses that they had earlier against Kansas and Duke, they missed a lot of open shots. Today, you guys contested pretty much everything. How were you able to defend them as well as you were able to?
I think we had better pride on defense tonight. We usually do a good job of contesting shots, and we wanted to limit their shooters. Obviously, Deshaun had a pretty good game, but we wanted them to take a lot of shots, and he took 21, to get 24 points. So that was basically our game plan. So other than that, the non-shooters we closed out and invited them to shoot, and when they did shoot, we contested them. And I think every guy that came in the game for us, contributed in some way.
Coach, talk about the rebounding.
Yeah, our guys battled. They battled. Thought we did a better job of blocking out, but I just thought we had a better disposition of when the shot went up. We emphasized it more in the last couple of days in practice. These guys will do about anything you ask them to do. So obviously we found the right button the last couple of days to emphasize it, and they embraced it. And that's on me. So I got to figure that out. I thought the last couple of days our staff, our assistants did a good job, and we were charting it and tracking it. These guys will tell you it was on spotlight the last couple of days of practice, and I thought it helped.
Player questions, please.
They left you open, especially early on went off the ball screen, and they kicked it back to you. Is that a shot you expected to be open for today, and is that something that gave you some confidence as you went along?
Oh yeah, we knew they were going down the ball screens, so the guards did a great job with setting me up, bringing down the big man to come help, and then it just popped open and it was open. And the guards did a good job of finding me and making a good pass. So it's all about just getting a good flow on offense, and that's what we did today. We had good motion. We played very well, and I think we passed the ball very well.
Then talk about how much more comfortable you're getting on the floor as you get more and more experience.
Oh yeah, game by game, you start learning things every game, so what not to do and what to do. So I think by every passing game, you keep learning and you keep doing things better, and you start learning from experience.
8 rebounds today, Nana. What was the difference today between the last couple games?
I think just basically, you have to block out. You have to give yourself the best opportunity to get the ball. You got to position yourself. You're not always going to get every ball. but you have to put yourself in the best position, to grab them. And I think as a team, we did that. I was just looking at the stat sheet. It was amazing how just all around the whole team, had, made an effort to, get some defensive rebounds. And we knew we had to do that. We can't have them, get us on offensive boards. We knew that'll make it a lot closer game.
Brandon, on a day when you didn't shoot the three very well, you dominated a top 10 team. That must make you feel good shot too. Well, you did some things that you haven't done this year, maybe.
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously we're a team that is capable of making a lot of threes. But when that doesn't happen, we got to pick it up in other aspects of our game, whether it's rebounding, defense, get to the basket. Obviously Nana had a great game. He had a lot of open shots. Joe made some great plays for us. Tracy down the stretch. So as long as we have guys that are contributing in different ways, everybody came in and definitely helped us win this game.
Brandon, did you need this for confidence, this game, this one?
I think we just needed this game in general. Obviously we want to protect home court. I don't know why, but people got crazy after our last loss. But it's a long season. It's just one game. This is just one game. We're gonna enjoy it, like Coach said. But tomorrow's a new day. We got to focus on our next game.
Brandon, early on, Tracy, the first 8-10 minutes, really, his hand was in almost every play, both ends of the court. How important was that to the start that you guys got and what you fed off of?
It's great. Tracy's been playing well for us, especially these last couple of games. When he comes out and brings that type of energy, I think it kind of picks other guys up. It gets the bench going. Our bench does a great job of staying enthusiastic and whatnot. So when he can do that, it kind of takes a little pressure off other guys. People are basically focusing in on me. And when that happens, it opens up areas for other guys.
Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, but we were in the same shoes at the 43-point game.
I knew someone was going to bring it up. I did. I haven't worn those shoes, I think, since that game. I don't even wear them for practice. So, I decided to bring it out for this game.
Brandon, can you walk us through that lob play to Bertrand? Is that something you work on a lot during practice?
Like Coach said, I'm not going to give away any secrets, but, we drew up a play to run for Joe. And I kind of threw a bad pass. If he hadn't touched it, it probably would have went in. But, Joe, we joked at halftime, he kind of stole my three. But, he made a great play. He's so athletic. He's probably one of the top athletic guys in the Big Ten, let alone the nation. So, whenever we can make those plays happen, we want to do that.
Nana, Brandon talked about there was no panic among the team. I mean, maybe the fans were panicking a little bit, but you guys, there was no panic at all?
Oh yeah, it definitely starts with Coach Groce, because he never really panics in timeouts and halftime. He's always level, and we just feed off that. We know it's a long game, long season. We have to stay. We talk about staying level, don't get too high, don't get too low. Just keep going. They're gonna punch them out sometimes, and I think they did a little bit in the second half. But we kept our ground. We didn't let one thing come past another thing. We made plays. So I think just as a team, I think we just have that feeling that whenever something's gonna go bad, we know we're gonna come back. So I think we did a great job, not letting them overpower us when they got on a run.
Brendan, do you think last year you guys could have bounced back in this way from the Purdue loss?
It all depends. A lot of people like to go and try to compare the years, but our main thing is just we're working on this year. Regardless of what happened last year, regardless of what we did this year, we're continuing to get better for this season and the season to come. So as long as we have the positive mindset that we have, we come into practice every day, looking to get better. I think we're continuing to improve.
Brandon, go against Kraft for 40 minutes. Is it wear you out when you go against Kraft?
Oh yeah, Kraft's a great defender. Obviously, I think me and Tracy are a little too timid with the ball. That's something we got to continue to get better at. We got away with some things today. Tracy had 6, I had like 5 turnovers. So that's unacceptable for us. But we made up for it. I think he plays the other way. We keep talking to each other. I'm learning from him, he's learning from me, and we're going to continue to try to take care of the ball. They're scrappy players.
Brandon, talk about the defense tonight.
Our defense?
Yeah.
Our defense definitely picked up. We realized, we were making shots early on, but, just in case that wasn't happening, we wanted to stop them, If we scored and they scored, we'd be trading baskets back and forth, and it wouldn't get us anywhere. So we knew if we got stops, we would be able to do what we wanted in offense. They obviously struggled guarding us, so that was definitely a key in this game.
And all for the players? Okay, we'll continue with Coach. We'll let Dan and Brandon out of here.
Coach, you've preached steady as you go, not too high, not too low. And yet this first week in the Big Ten, we've seen a lot of this, but is this kind of what life might be like this season in the Big Ten?
Well, I think it's as deep as I've ever seen it. I've said that before, Mark. You know, I think that, you know, you play one way one game, that doesn't mean that's automatically going to happen the next game. You know, it's not just the way it is. I mean, you have to have, you know, if I could bottle up that toughness we had today and play that with that toughness the next 17 games, you know, obviously I'd do that. But it's delicate. You know, that's why each game is so different. You know, each game is different. We don't, I've said all along, we're not going to define our season by one game, win or lose. And the guys have not done that. But at the same time, I was, and you probably sense this, maybe a little bit disappointed with our toughness on Wednesday night for the first time all year. And we put a couple guys on Front Street in regard to that over the last couple days, and they responded at a high level. You know, they did. So we gotta, you know, enjoy this one today, and then tomorrow when we wake up, we better be tough again on Wednesday now. Gotta be tough. You know, and it's not something that's an automatic. It's not something you just, you know, turn on and off with a lot. I think it does start with practice, as Brandon alluded to. I think that's important. I think that we played like we practiced.
Let's talk about these toughness drills. Saw Tracy on the floor, Tyler on the floor, DJ on the floor. You say you like that kind of stuff.
Oh, I love it. I mean, that's, you know, toughness plays, you know, passion, inspiring plays. You know, anytime a guy sacrifices his body, you know, to make a play for his team, I think that's the highest level of teamism. I don't know if that's a word. But the guys did that today. We've done that a lot all season. It's not like this is the first day we did it. We didn't do it as much as I would have liked on Wednesday night, and I thought that they did, and I gave the opponent credit for that. And then we got back to work the last couple of days to be who we are, and I thought our guys did a good job of that today.
Now, in all the years that you were with Fed and now the years that you've been on your own, have you ever gone this deep into a season where you've only got one guy that you can rely on to get your points for you? And how do you broaden your offense to get other guys?
You're talking about us, Bob?
No, I'm talking about Ohio State. What has to happen?
Well,
besides making shots?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not there every day like I used to be, obviously. I know this, I know they got a great staff, and they're going to try to put those guys in a position to be successful. He's always done that. I was with him for 8 years. You know, he works really hard. I know he's competitive, and he'll figure it out. He always does.
Have you ever been in, what I was going to ask is, have you ever been in a situation like they're in now, where they've got Deshaun and they're searching for one or two other guys to balance the offense?
I'd have to think back. I mean, I've been doing it 19 years. I've lost a lot of hair over that time period.
And you probably have.
You know, more than likely we have. At some point in time, we've seen that, you know.
What do you do?
You know, I think they've got guys that they'll continue to get better. That's the thing, you know, they're going to get better. You know, his personnel will get better. Just the way I know how they operate culturally, and they're going to get better. I mean, they are. You know, I look at a guy like Nana, for example, Bob, to flip the coin to us. You know, he did some things tonight that I've seen him do in practice over and over and over again. You know, had he made that jump shot that consistently today, or in a game? A couple times, but maybe not to the level today. Am I surprised? No. He does it all the time in practice. So he's evolved. Who that guy's going to be for them, or those guys for them, you know, only Coach Mata knows that. I'm not at practice every day.
Ohio State can hold the teams to 40% from two-point range. You shoot 65% overall, 14 and 19 in the first half. What was it? Was it just shot selection? Was it their defense? What was it?
I think it was a little bit of shot selection was good. And then I thought, you know, you never can underestimate field goal percentage is affected, a little bit skewed one way or the other if you can get points off turnovers or offensive rebound putbacks. So you may look at the stat sheet and say, man, our defense is not very good because they're shooting blank. Well, your defense may be good, but you're turning the ball over and you can't guard turnovers. And then you're getting offensive rebound putbacks after playing really good defense, and we all know it's the Hubie Brown deal. First shot, 40th percentile. Second shot, 60th percentile. Third shot, 80th percentile. And it just keeps climbing. You know, so I thought that What I'm saying basically, Brad, is that we got some points off turnovers in the first half that I thought ignited us. I can't remember how many they had, maybe it was 11 at the half, and that got us out in transition. That gives you a chance to have an advantage and not have to always face the half-court defense, you know. And then from there, having said that, in addition to that, I thought our execution was good when we were in the half-court.
John, did you think, they came in averaging 10.3 turnovers a game, they had 11 at halftime. Did you think your athletes were good enough on the floor to force turnovers?
No. In fact, I said before the game, you know, they're going to take care of the ball. That's what his teams always do, and we can't count on that to be something that, you know, allows us to be competitive or win the game. And they settled down the second half, Bob. I think, what, they have 5.5. That's pretty typical. First half, you know, we were fortunate. You know, they'll probably watch them like I'm sure we do when everybody watches their turnovers, see how many of them are unforced, see how many of them are forced, and you know they'll work to get better. I'm not crazy about our 18. You know, we had 6 at the half, we had 12 in the second half. I mean, we got to do better than that.
John, you got a little dose of the road the other night. They got a big one here. What qualities are going to matter when, you know, in terms of who does do well on the road in this league this year?
Experience, toughness, the ability to deal with adversity and success, I think is important. I think leadership's important. And I think players making plays, big-time players making plays, I think that's important.
Shannon?
Thanks. With Nana, how important is his progression as the season goes along in the Big Ten?
Yeah, he's great. He played great. He's good at both ends. He does some things on the defensive end I think people don't give him credit for. He's really good there. Tonight he made some shots, helped us on the glass. He continues to get better. If there's ever a kid that deserves to continue to get better, it's him. He works his tail off. And he cares about Illinois, and he cares about winning. So, I mean, we love him. You just got to keep working with him and keep getting him better, because he'll do whatever you ask him to do.
Even though you've seen so much toughness out of your team, was there some worry just about that continuing from the Purdue game, or did you think, I've got to nip this in the bud?
No, I was just disappointed, because that's not who we've been. You can't win some of the games that we've won in some of the environments that we've won if you're soft. You know, we've been pretty tough. We've been together, and we come back from 16-point deficits twice at Hawaii, 2 different times. You know, I can't remember what we were down at Gonzaga. We got blitzed to start the game. You know, came back. So we've done it before. You know, we just needed to get back to doing those things again. I thought we did that in practice the last 2 days, and I thought that paid dividends today.
Coach, I think what stood out to me was your team's ability to withstand their runs. You never really let them back in the game once that lead got to 10 or 12. Is that kind of the killer instinct that you've been looking for this team to really get?
Yeah, being even keel. You know, they were good. I mean, top 10 team in the country. I mean, they're going to make runs. They're going to make shots. They're going to make plays. They got good players. I mean, so you got to just stay right here. And I thought our guys, as Nana said, have done a pretty good job of that throughout the year.
John, did you feel that you guys needed this one?
I wanted to play. Here's what I felt like. I felt like when I laid my head down on my pillow after the game, I wanted to say, like I did after we got beat by Missouri. Now, no one likes to lose. And we dinked a couple things up, and they're really good. But I laid my head down that night, and I said, those are my guys. I just wanted to feel that way tonight, regardless of the score. And then we got back to doing some of those toughness things well. I didn't think we did those as well on Wednesday. And when you don't do those things well in this league, you get, as I said after the game the other night, it's a recipe for disaster. And today we got back to doing those things.
So Coach, did this win mean a little more considering the opponent?
No. No. I mean, you got 18 games. I've been telling these guys from day one, every game counts the same, win or lose. You don't get double because you beat somebody or lose to somebody. It's not like, hey, you lost, so that counts twice. You know, it doesn't work that way. Every game counts the same. You know, obviously, we knew it was going to take a great effort, and we were going to have to be really tough and together to play well today. And again, I thought we did that.